Welcome to the Bottom Line for YBA. I'm Mikki Janower, and here we have with us today Miss Sharon John, President of the Stride Rite Children's Group. As the President of the Stride Rite Children's Group, you get to head brands such as Keds and Sperry Topsiders. So how is an average day for you with a job this unusual and great?
Well, I do manage a number of different brands, including the Stride Rite brand, Sperry, Keds, and Saucony. And those are all different types of shoes, so it's a pretty broad array of brands. Additionally, I manage what we call our retail side as well as wholesale side. So managing all the Stride Rite retail stores that you've probably gone to when you were a kid, as well as stores where we sell product to, like a Nordstrom or a Dillard's. So we have a pretty, what we call a complex business model. And one of the earmarks of a complex business model with lots of brands, lots of products, lots of categories, and lots of distribution is that no day is ever the same.
Your multiple brands cater to both kids and adults. How do they compare to each other?
Well, we have entirely separate groups that manage the adult sides of the brands that do have a business that caters to the adults, such as Saucony, Sperry, and Keds. We work a lot with those brand presidents as well to ensure that we're what we call drafting off of the insights that they have and the looks that they have, because today's kids, particularly kids your age, like to have the adult looks. So we're working with them very closely for trends and insights that the kids will find meaningful as well.
So I read that before you worked here, you used to work for companies such as Nerf, Barbie, and My Little Pony. How does that differ from your current job?
Yes, I did work for the two top toy companies in the world, Mattel, who manages Barbie, and Hasbro, that manages My Little Pony and Nerf. The interesting thing about those brands and the shoe industry is in some ways they're quite a bit alike. They're both categories from a kid's perspective. The children are very involved in the selection early in their lives. Kids find their toys are very important and they have a big opinion about what toys they want, and it's the same with shoes. What brand they want to wear, what look they want to have, both girls and boys. So it's my job to understand kids. Separately, it's my job to understand how moms help you make those decisions. Because whether you like it or not, moms oftentimes get to call the last word because they make the purchase at the end of the day most of the time. So a lot of my job is understanding the dynamics between kids and moms and how those purchase decisions are made, whether the kid is asking or when the mom says yes. Fortunately for me, I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, 12, 9, and 6. So I really understand those dynamics from a very, very personal level.
You and your family has probably learned quite a bit about style. Any advice you can give to the viewers?
Oh, style is all about what looks best and works best for you. You need to really understand who you are and what you want to be, and make sure that whatever you're wearing is reflective of what makes you special. And you don't have to be like everybody else. You can find the things that really reflect your personality. And I think that's generally the best style.
Who are the shoe designers thinking of when they create these shoes?
Well, the Saucony brand in particular, being an elite running brand at its history, is, it's an athletic and performance brand. So much of the Saucony personality is based on the runner's experience, which is where the heritage of the brand started. It's recently started to expand into more general athletics, and that's when it started to really start to appeal to kids more. And what we do is take some of their technology insights, like minimalism is a big word in the athletics like space today, and translate that appropriately to kids. So that they're really comfortable for the child, and more importantly with the colors that we choose, that you just look cool. Back to that dynamic between the kid and the mom. So the kid goes, that really looks cool, I'm going to look awesome in those shoes, and mom goes, that's Saucony, that's a quality brand, that's okay, I'll buy it.
That's awesome, wow. So you must have a great job. It must be so much fun.
It is a lot of fun, and most of my career has been involved with kids and what kids think and how they make those decisions. And really, for me, in products that are about making kids happy. So whether that's toys or shoes, and I also like being around the fashion business, having started in Barbie, which is really more a fashion business than a doll business. My first job out of graduate school was heading the Barbie fashions business. Wow. So that's really fun. So when you meld all that together, this is a really, this is a job that taps into a lot of my skill sets and things that I love, which I hope for my own children.
So as a mother of 3, I think you said? Mm-hmm. How do you balance out being a mother and being a businesswoman?
Balance is always something that you strive for and frankly rarely achieve. So what you really have to do is make sure, A, your priorities are straight, and B, that you can deal with the fact that everything that you do is not going to be perfect. So one of the difficulties, I think, for executive women is they tend to have A personalities, which is a high-driven personality with a high need for perfection, but you really have to find a way to just make life work. And you also end up with some pretty understanding kids. A great husband helps too.
When did you realize that this was the business for you?
I always like a challenge, and I like to learn new things. So this particular business, unlike my previous job at Hasbro, where I was managing multiple brands just like this, but I didn't have the retail side. So learning how to run retail stores has been very exciting for me. And so whenever you're in a mall and you walk into a store and you think about what's going on in here, how do they choose the shoes, how do they choose who works here, how do they choose what they say to me when I walk in, all of that's thought out, just beat by beat by beat. And it's really kind of interesting how scheduled and planned every single thing that happens in those retail doors is. The next time you walk into a store, think about that. It's really fun.
In a world that was so recently driven only by men, how does it feel to be a female in the workspace and at the top of the food chain, per se?
Well, I'm not at the top of the food chain. Long way to go for that. But I, certainly in the executive ranks. And I think that one of the things that probably has benefited me as in these circumstances is I've never really thought about it as a girl-guy thing. And some of that probably had to do with being involved in sports when I was young, having a great relationship with my dad. My dad was anybody who's there for the job has to do the job, so I'm the one that has to go outside and take the garbage out. It's who's ever standing there. There weren't guy jobs and girl jobs in my house. And I think that a lot of that sort of, led me to not limit my possibilities myself, which I encourage anyone to think about. You don't have to be the one to say no. There'll be enough of that in the world. So always give yourself permission and think through the possibilities of how or why versus not the why nots. And I suppose that at the end of the day, the best person will rise, and you just have to stay focused and not get caught up in that.
A lot of your shoes have been put in books or movies, such as your line Keds have been put in the Click series. Do you approve of product placement, or?
Sometimes it's a request, and sometimes it's not. Most of the time in the movies they generally are requests. Yeah. But we also, in less you know, media-centric type things like entertainment type things. You know, we're in magazines all the time. And particularly Stride Rite is on celebrities' children all the time. And those are not requests. Those are just them really living out their life and choosing Stride Rite for their kids to wear, which is great. We find that to be very complimentary.
I have to ask, because I love fashion, how many shoes do you have in your closet?
I don't know how many shoes. I did count the other day how many pairs of black boots I have, which is some crazy number. Like for me, like it was something like 15 pairs of black boots. Wow. Because my husband, you know, being a guy, doesn't understand why I need more than one pair of black shoes, let alone 15 pairs of black boots. But I will tell you, in total, I have probably more shoes than my husband, but fewer than Imelda Marcos.
It's a good answer. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.